Hi, this is Justin from Bajar Productions. In this video, I'm going to show you a sneak peek of a new way to add resources for CSS and JavaScript to extend your in5 output. Now, in a lot of cases, people are extending it without actually knowing how to write CSS or JavaScript because we have a lot of examples available for customization. So, for example, on the in5 answer exchange, where people ask questions and their answers posted, there are a lot of custom code snippets that you can use to attach to your output so that that code ends up in your output without having to actually edit any of the files that are exported. It's just attached and it's there every time you export. One of the challenges with that is that you would have to create a file. Some people found this challenging. They're not really aware that there is a distinction between a plain text editor and a rich text editor. For example, Word is a rich text editor, but TextEdit is a plain text editor. That's always been a challenge and just a stumbling block in people trying to add these customizations, and so I wanted to make that a lot easier for you. So here's an example on the answer exchange of a customization. I'm just going to take one of these bits of code. So for example, this customization will add indications of page numbers. I can grab this one. There's one down below that adds that, but it also disables the browser navigation, right? So these are just some custom bits of code, and when they get attached to the output, they change the behavior, so you've got a lot of flexibility. Now I'm switched over in InDesign in my document. I'm going to go up to in5 and export as if I'm ready to export this document. When I attach the resources, I go to the resources section. This happens to be JavaScript. I could also do CSS. And when I want to add a resource, I click this plus button. There used to be two options and now there are three, and you can see it's gotten a little bit smarter too. So there is an option to paste code, and it's actually highlighted because it knows there's code on my clipboard. I also have the option of entering a URL. So this is used most often with like Google fonts or Adobe Typekit fonts. You can put in the JavaScript or CSS URL in there and attach a remote URL, or you can browse for a file. And so this would be the old method that I was referring to, where I'd create a text file, give it a name that ends in .js, save it, and then attach it here, right? So you had to sort of be comfortable with that, and it just created a headache for a lot of people. So now, instead of doing any of that, I'm just going to click paste code. It's already taken the code that was on my clipboard. I didn't have to paste it. If for some reason I need to make a change, I can of course right click and paste in there. And then I can name it. In this case, I'll maybe call it like hashtags. Because that's the change that I'm making. And I'll hit save and apply, and you can see it's created a file. It puts it with my document, my InDesign document, and attaches it in here. So when I click OK to export, that code will be in my output. So hopefully that'll make your life much easier when working with customizations in in5.